3.5 lakh rupees. 3 motorcycles that look like urban street fighter on paper. In reality, one behaves like a runaway tractor. One behaves like a track day scalpel. And one behaves like a heavyweight boxer wearing sprinting shoes. Showrooms will show you shiny brochures and horsepower numbers. They will not tell you about fuel pump anxiety, stalling at red lights, or vibrating handlebars. Here is what these 3 machines are actually like to live with. Let us start with what happens when you whack that throttle open. On paper, the Royal Enfield Guerrilla 450 is a heavy machine. At 185 kilograms, it is the fattest bike in this group. By all law of logic, it should feel sluggish off the line. It does not. When you launch the Guerrilla, it hits your spine like a runaway rickshaw. Why? Because Royal Enfield did not just build a big engine. They geared it like a tractor. By using a steep first gear and a 40-tooth rear sprocket, the engine multiplies its torque 17 times before it touches the rear tire. It's like riding a bicycle in the first gear. You cannot pedal very fast, but you can pull a house. And now look at the Triumph Speed 350, or should I say 400. Triumph downsized this engine to 350cc by shortening the stroke, specifically to dodge the tax ante. It does not explode. It quietly asks for downshifts like a dignified butler who has been forced to jog in a 3-piece suit. The KTM Duke 350 took the exact same short stroke shortcut and went completely mad with it. Below 4000 RPM, the engine is dead and asleep. In slow city traffic, it feels like a 50cc commuter scooter. But cross 6000 RPM and the engine explodes into a lifelike like a caffeinated bodybuilder. Now, let us talk about steering into a fast corner. The KTM Duke 350 weighs just 165 kilograms and wears a narrow rear tire. When you approach a bend, you do not turn this bike. You just think about leading and the chassis drops into the corner instantly. The Triumph Speed 400 feels like a plush sofa on wheels. In city traffic, it floats over broken roads that would rattle your teeth on the KTM. And the trade-off is when you push it hard through fast, twisty bends, the soft chassis flexes slightly, telling you gently, slow down, this is still a cruiser at heart. And then we come to the Royal Enfield Guerrilla. And here, the physics get weird. Royal Enfield gave Guerrilla steep front fork angle, meaning the front fork wants to turn in fast, which is great, by the way. Except at the back, they fitted a massive wide 160 section rear tire. The wide rear tire acts like a heavy spinning flywheel. It wants to stay upright. So when you tip the Guerrilla into a corner, the front end dives in quickly, while the heavy rear tire pushes back. The result is you have to muscle the handlebar with your arms to keep it on the line. By the way, the new Apex solves this with a better tire, but you can't really fight physics that much. Now let's talk about the real world annoyances showrooms never mention. First, the fuel stops. The Triumph and KTM carry sensible fuel tanks, giving you over 300 kilometers on the highway range. The Guerrilla 450 carries an 11-liter fuel tank. At real highway speeds, your fuel warning light flashes every 220 kilometers. Second, stalling in city traffic. The KTM Duke 350 runs a very lean fuel map to clear emission loss. Because it has a light wheel flywheel, if you chop the throttle rapidly in second gear while filtering through the traffic, the engine can flame out and stall unexpectedly. Third, the torque wrench trap on the Guerrilla. The Guerrilla uses a stressed member frame, meaning the engine is literally a structural beam holding the frame together. When you install aftermarket crash guards, you are unbolting those structural joints. And by the way, you should install. If the local mechanic tightens those bolts with a standard spanner instead of a calibrated torque wrench, engine vibrations stop being absorbed at those joints and they migrate directly into your foot pegs and your handlebars, buzzing your hands like an electric toothbrush. Finally, what happens to your wallet when service time comes? The Triumph Speed 400 has long and 16,000 kilometers service intervals. Routine oil changes are simple and affordable. Although the main annoyance is that the stock front brake pads are made of soft organic compounds. Upgrading to aftermarket sintered brake pads is a mandatory 4,000 rupees fix. The Royal Enfield Guerrilla requires oil changes every 5,000 kilometers. And at 10,000 kilometers, it demands a DOHC valve clearance inspection. Unlike the older Royal Enfields, where the mechanic could just adjust the valves with a simple spanner, adjusting those valves require removing those camshafts and measuring tiny metal shims. And budget for it when you calculate your ownership costs. So here is the final traffic light verdict. This is something that we coined and we do it for all the bikes. For the Triumph Speed 400, the red zone is soft stock brake pads that fade under heavy braking. The amber is soft suspension that flexes on an aggressive track and canyon pushes. The green is that it is the most comfortable, most refined, stress-free daily commuter. For the KTM Duke 350, the red is low RPM stalling and flameouts in city traffic. The amber is dead low and power below 4,000 RPMs. The green is the lightest weight, razor sharp cornering and high RPM thrills. For the Royal Enfield Guerrilla 450, the red is a small 11-liter tank that limits highways and ranges to 220 kilometers odd only. The amber is the heavy 160 section rear tire that demands physical handlebar muscle. Now this is an issue with the standard version. Apex promises something better. The green is explosive gear acceleration and hard launch thrust. 3 motorcycles, 3 clear personalities. Buy the Triumph if you want a plush, stress-free daily commuter that eats potholes for breakfast. Buy the KTM if you want a light, high-revving cornering weapon for a weekend blast. Buy the Guerrilla if you want explosive, low-end torque, street presence and raw launch punch. Subscribe if you would rather know before you buy. Till the next time, I see you. Ciao.